Good evening, everybody. A happy and warm welcome to all of you. We will begin the session by concentrating on the mother's music. When I play the music, you can close your eyes and simply listen to the music or follow the music and allow it to carry you. We have introduced this as a practice as it allows us to become inwardly silent and be open to benefit from the session. Thank you so much, everybody. It gives us immense joy to see all of you attend the AuroYouth sessions regularly every Sunday. For a few of you who have joined in this session, AuroYouth is the youth wing of Sri Aurobindo Society and has launched the series of these weekly interactions under the title From Twilight to Light, the Sunlit Path. These sessions are meant to provide the youth with the inner strength and spiritual outlook that will help in navigating them throughout their life. So today's session is on harmony in relationships, which will be taken by Rahul Sharma. I'm guessing that some of you who have visited our FB page in the last few days are aware of this, as one of the activities in relation to the topic was posted to the participants, but it's completely okay if you're not aware of it, because Rahul will be covering all the aspects in this session as well. So let me give you a brief introduction about Rahul Sharma. Rahul is a young software engineer in the automotive industry who turned towards volunteering and spirituality to quench his deeper thirst. Having also worked in the fields of education, Indian culture and world culture, spirituality and youth, his key aspiration is to offer himself for the growth of India and her people, the youth in particular. We are extremely happy, Rahul, that you have accepted to take this session. Request the participants to pose your questions in the chat box, and the FB participants can post your questions in the comment section, and they will be addressed towards the end of the session. So with this, over to you, Rahul. नाम तो सुना ही
Thank you,
होगा.
Harshita. You had to say that. Okay, can't do much about my name. All right, so let's get going. Let me share my screen. So Harshita, let me know if you can see a slide with follow-up on the activity with the URL there. I can't hear you.
Can you just share your PPT or in the presenter view? Yeah, instead of your screen, you can just share your PPT.
Okay, let me try again. All right. How does it look now?
Yes, now it's
On the
perfect.
activity? That's the
Yes,
slide you see, right? All right.
yes.
So, hello everyone again. And before I jump into the topic of harmony in relationships, let's look at the activity that we posted on the AuroYouth group. Harshita, are you looking at the Facebook activity right now? Is that visible on my screen?
No,
Is
it hasn't loaded yet. If you
all
have
right.
clicked it, not able to
Okay.
see that.
Let me try this. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we posted this activity. Um, to put it very simply, all you needed was a paper and a pen, and you were supposed to look at your surroundings. So maybe take up your wallet, your wardrobe, drawer or shelf. I wanted to add your backpack as well, but I'm not sure how much you're going out, how much is possible given the current circumstances. So you choose one of the objects which has some contents inside it, and then you just open it up and just observe and see how things are arranged and how you feel about it. Is everything in order? Is everything in its right place? And you write down how you feel. So that is step one. Next, you spend some time observing and experimenting with the arrangement of things in that space. So you take 2 minutes, you see, okay, what if I move this thing there, or maybe put this like this? Does it seem better? Does this thing, if I put it here, it feels better? Is this its right place? So you experiment. And then after that, you again write down how you feel once the activity is done. Okay, now I've taken up 2 minutes, I've arranged things according to my understanding, and how do I feel now? So you write down how you feel before the activity and after the activity, and then you answer this poll that how do you feel after doing this activity? Is it better or there's no change? And I also wanted to have an option so you can comment also here if it's something else. If you want to write a few words or phrases, you can comment below. So this activity is still there on the AuroYouth Facebook page, and you can pretty much go there and um, yeah, spend some time on this. The significance of this activity is that when we pay attention to things around us, they are a reflection of how things are within us, how things are ordered within us. So if you would have observed, when when things are not organized within ourselves, when there's a lot of clutter, there's clutter around us also. Now, I'm of course assuming that it's not a shared space, it's your own space. So in our own space, can we observe, can we give it some attention, spend some time and put things in their right place? Now, this right place is um, it's subjective. So when you take up something, you might find that it belongs to a certain place, but someone else might find that, okay, if I put it here, it makes more sense to me. So this is what harmony is, putting things at their right place, and everyone has their own sense of harmony. So for instance, if we take you and maybe your friend to the same room, you will arrange both things differently if that is what is asked to you. So the significance of the activity is if we arrange things um, outside, we'll also observe our inner spaces, how things are arranged on the inside. So the outer is the reflection of the inner. So this is one excellent activity, one very good way to organize ourselves within. The within might not be accessible to all of us initially, but we access it through our surroundings, what is around us. So that is the significance of the activity, and I invite you all to, yeah, it's very interesting. And sometimes once you get started with it, You will perhaps end up spending hours and hours on arranging things. It's very, very interesting. Just try it out. With that, I'll now jump into the topic. All right.
Rahul, can I request you to be a little louder?
Okay, I'll do that.
Thanks.
So, sharing the PowerPoint again. So, Harshita, again, the check. Do you see a slide with harmony in relationships?
Perfect.
And
Yes.
am I audible enough now? Is
Yeah.
it okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, harmony in relationships. So, what is harmony? If we look at this nice image that we have, it's a set of rocks arranged in such a way that they're just in balance. And if there's a little nudge from here or there, or if there's a strong wind, everything will fall apart. And each rock is placed such that it is just in its right place. So for instance, if I take this little one and put it below, maybe this arrangement will not occur. This arrangement will not be possible. So everything in its right place, everything in its balance, just the right balance. This is harmony. And what is, so I already spoke about what harmony is. And now we'll look at relationships. So in the last session, Divyanshi, if you saw that session, if not, please go ahead and watch it. It was a lovely session by Divyanshi where she dived deep into intimate partner relationships. That's one kind of relationship. And she spoke about rise, how we fall in love and how we can rise in it. So today I'm going to broaden up the spectrum of relationships. Um, I'll first look at the relationship with our parents. So to start with, I want to ask all of you to just write in the chat box the first word or the first few words that come to your mind when you think about relationship with parents, with your mother, with your father. What comes to your mind? The first thing. Just write it in the chat box. So, unconditional love, friend, happy place, friendship, protection, care, acceptance. All right, all right. So, this is what we feel when we think of our parents. And this is also the relationship, the first relationship we have with the human we are just born into. And it's one of the, we can say, the foundation, like this big rock here, the foundation of all our relationships. And this is also a relationship in which there's a possibility of a lot of conflict. So, why do conflicts arrive in this parent child relationship? So, if you also look at nature, each parent, especially the mammal species, each parent has a protective instinct for their child. And a lot of their concern, etc., comes from that protective instinct. And we all, I think, have at least heard this from our parents once or twice that when you will be a parent, you will understand. So, conflicts with parents, be it about career, be it about spending time with friends, about choosing a partner, why do conflicts arise? So, it's also because our parents, they have grown up in a certain way, in a certain environment, in a certain mental conditioning, and they have certain opinions about things. So opinions are what create conflicts, difference of opinions to be more precise, that we have a different opinion on something and our parents have a different opinion on something. But can we look at, um, can we try to understand our parents' perspective also? So at a lot of times, be it career choices or the choice of a partner, their intent, if you really put yourself in if you really put ourselves in their shoes, try to understand where they're coming from, their intent always is from a space of protection, from a space of concern. And if we explore that, if we try to understand that, then there is a possibility of a harmonization of opinions. Once we understand them, then there is a possibility of trying to express ourselves, trying to explain where we are coming from. But if we just remain in ourselves, if we do not understand them, if we completely reject and rebel against them. Now, I do not want to make a general statement. This cannot be applied to every relationship, but yeah, let's go ahead with it. Let's explore this. So, when there is a conflict with a parent, what if we try to understand them? Start from there, and then have a dialogue. Talk about it, communicate rather than, and in that communication, see if we can speak from the space of reason, because bringing in emotions too much, um, it can make the conversation difficult. So, can we use reason and explore that? So, with that, I would leave the space of relationship with the parents and move to a different kind of relationship. So, the relationship with siblings. So, another relationship that we are born with. And this is like a stepping stone towards our relationship with friends. So, siblings are okay, let's do this. Instead of me telling what a relationship with siblings is, again, I want you to write down what comes to your mind when you first think of your siblings. If you did not have any siblings, just mention what comes to you when you think of your cousins, maybe. Okay. Friendship for life, best friend, trust, restriction, fight. Yes, fight. Of course. Survival kit, prankster, beauty of life, partner in crime, of course, yes. Love, hate, yes, yes, yes. So, our siblings are the first people with whom we are like totally open. So, they are like us. So, with parents, we have a certain different kind of bonding. With parents, they are up there, we are here. So, there is a certain dynamics there. But with siblings, all open and all kinds of aspects come in. And it is very beautiful that our relationships with our siblings are, in a way, a stepping stone to friendship. So now I want you to reflect on the friends that you have had, your relationships with the friends, and just write down in the chat box what comes to your mind when you think of them, your friends. Happiness, acceptance of differences, best guide, trust, supportive, similar, having each other's back, carefreeness, understanding, care. All right. No secrets, non judgmental, long lasting, trust, emotions, understanding. Okay, okay. So, if we think about it, this relationship of friendship is a very special and it's the one which we try to find in in any person whom we resonate with. So this automatically becomes the default relationship with the people whom we connect with more, whom we connect with easily. And as some of you mentioned, aspects like why we connect, the aspects or the qualities of this relationship, that non-judgmental, openness, trusting, having each other's back. And it's, I think, the most beautiful kind of relationship that one can have with anyone, regardless of how we are related to them by birth or whatever. Because this relationship, this friendship, brings out something altogether different about two people. And yeah, I would, at that note, I would leave here and I'll move to the importance of harmony in relationships. So, okay, we looked at what harmony was, we looked at different kinds of relationships. Now we'll see why is it important to have harmony relationships. So are we only related, or do we spend time only with one person in our whole life? That's not at all the case. This earth has so many human beings, and I'm not even getting into the relationships that we have with animals. Some of us have pets also, and that becomes altogether one very important relationship with us. So I'm just restricting ourselves to the relationships that we have with human beings. And think about, yeah, the people we meet at our workplace, people we work with, our friends. So, um, whatever way we want to label them, there's always this, we would have come across this point where maybe one of our people in our close relationships would say, hey, you're not giving me enough time, you're spending so much of time with that. Especially in friendships, it happens, right? That one friend would feel, hey, you're not giving me more time. And parents also, when we grow up, there's a certain, there's this feeling that the children do not care for them enough. So we have relationships, we have different kinds of relationships with different people. And why is harmony important? So again, if we look at this image, so think about these rocks as our relationships, and maybe this little one at the top is us. All of them hold us, and our circumstances uh, are like the winds around. And if there is no harmony in a relationship, if there's no solid balance, then everything collapses and things become painful. So now that we have a motivation to have harmony in a relationship, let's look at how we can bring about this harmony. So how do we do that? I'll explore two ways. One is the outer way. It's difficult and sometimes does not work out. But still, let's explore this because at least sometimes it will work out. So how do we do that? So we prioritize in a way that, okay, what is my close circle? So we think, okay, what is my support system? What is my fallback mechanism? What is the relationship which means a lot to me? So maybe writing it down. So you take a piece of paper. This is something you can explore also later on. That take a piece of paper um, and start writing down people who really mean to you, and then why do they mean so much to you? And this will help you prioritize and figure out the relationships that really matter to you. But don't stop there. Now think of the other way. Who are the people for whom you matter a lot? And then you will have a synthesis. So it's not just one way. So you think from your perspective and then think from the other people's perspective. For instance, the parents. For the parents, their children matter a lot. It's almost comes from a biological instinct. And why do we matter a lot to them? Again, explore that aspect. Write down. And then you will see that something, you'll find your way of figuring it out, that what really is important, which relationships are the most important. And once we have, let's say, five, six, seven important relationships, then mm, we have like a bedrock, right? We have the bottom one, then the top one. So figuring out which rock goes where, basically. Priorities. Once we have our priorities in our relationships clear, then handling them, living them becomes easier. If that is not the case, then we might, if we end up putting this little one below, this one at the top, things will collapse. So putting everything at its right place, and this is something all of us need to explore by ourselves. I cannot tell what will work for you. It's different for everyone. So this is one way to bring about harmony in relationships. And then there is a very interesting inner way. It is difficult to get hang of initially, but very reliable. So the question is, can I get in touch with something within me which is the source of harmony, which in itself is all harmonious and also the source of love? So if I get in touch with that, then can it express itself in all the aspects of my life, relationships included? So let's explore this activity. So the mother gave this method of becoming conscious of the soul. So you might think of that part of yourself as soul, or the best within you, or that which is most beautiful, most perfect, which is all good. There can be different ways of looking at it. No problem, no fixed way needed. Whatever you resonate, whatever resonates with you the most, that's fine. But the method is of getting in touch with that and being more and more conscious of it. Can I be in touch with that in as tangible way as maybe I experience my body, my hands? So that is the idea. And this activity is very simple. We'll be doing it right away. So I'll just explain the method given by the mother, and then we'll all close our eyes. You follow my instructions and we'll do this. So the idea is to sit comfortably. You can also lie down, and you gather all your attention, all your threads of consciousness. So if you're thinking about something, if you're thinking about people, just bring everything, concentrate here in the chest, in the middle of the chest, and pull all your attention and focus here, and go deep inside your chest, in the center of your chest, and keep concentrating there until you reach a state of peace and immobility. And she says that you might not succeed for the first time, but you will try again and again until you succeed. And in the state of quiet and silent immobility, you will be in contact with your soul, unite with it, and feel free. And naturally, with the practice, it will become more and more easy and spontaneous. So, we'll get into the practice now. I want all of you to close your eyes, sit comfortably, and just observe your breath for a few moments. We are doing this to bring ourselves in the present moment. Observe how it flows in through the nostril, how it flows out, but do not try to manipulate it. Just be with your breath. And now I want you to pay all your attention and try to just listen to your heartbeat. Try to listen to your heartbeat. If a thought comes, let it come. Get your attention back to the heartbeat. Use the breath to focus your attention again. If you are able to hear your heartbeat, I want you to go deeper within, go deep into the center of your chest as far as you can. Do not try to force anything. Just be present at the center of your chest and see if you can go deep within. Now, take your own time to get aware of your body, of your presence. Just try to move your fingers, your arms slightly, and taking your own time, slowly open your eyes. So, if you would like to, can you please share what you felt like in the chat, Zoom chat? Peace, happiness, freshness, calming, deepening experience, connection with myself, silence. It was hard to concentrate in the beginning. So yes, Shalini, it's this is something we don't do on a regular basis. So initially it will be difficult, but yeah, let's keep trying and see what we come across. Lightheaded. Finally me. Okay, peaceful. All right, so this is a space within us. Yes, Ashwarya, if we do this regularly, it will be really amazing. So this, what we just try to get in touch with, it is that space within us which, so we spoke about friends, right? This is one friend who's always available to us 24/7 for guidance. But this friend is, for a lack of a better word, I would say shy. This friend will not impose its will on us. This friend does not come all the way in the front and says, hey, this is what you should do. No, this is right, this is wrong. No. Its voice is very soft. It'll speak from the background. It supports us from the background. And the more and more we listen to it, the stronger our connection with it becomes. So it's very simple, right? How do we have a strong connect with anyone? How do we have a strong relationship with anyone? When we spend more and more time with them, when we listen to them, when we open up to them. That's how our relationship becomes stronger with them. So here is a friend, here is a guide who has all answers to all our queries. Let's take it in a hypothetical way, what I'm saying. Let's test it out. Let's see what we come across. And this is the space within us, which is the source of all harmony, all love. So when we are in a conflict, can we get in touch with this space? Can we go deep within? And like we would ask a friend, right? When we are in pain or when we are just, so we cry, we speak out whatever comes to our mind to a friend. Similarly, we can speak to this friend within. And there's another way of speaking to this friend, and that is what I wanted to introduce to all of you. That is journaling. So every day or whenever we feel like, we can write to this friend, we can write letters to it that, hey, this is what is going wrong. And you can also think about it as the divine within. And if you do not resonate with the word divine, think of all that is good within you, the perfect, the all that is perfect within you. Completely okay. It's completely up to us how we want to think about it. But the important thing is to get in touch with this friend within us. And in a way, this one is our best friend, our truest friend, who will never let us down. So don't take my words for granted. Explore and find out for yourself. Let's all do this and see where it leads us. So we are on an adventure. All right, so this is another way of getting in touch with this friend, creating a strong bond with this friend, journaling. And this is something which has helped me personally, and from experience, I'm sharing that. See, whenever something bothers, just write down. Hey, this is what is happening. Just write down and observe, be open, um, and see what comes. So I mentioned the word divine here, and naturally, in some of our minds, this thought would have come up. What is the divine? What is this divine that you're talking about? The mother um, spoke about it in very beautiful words, and I wanted to share it with you. She says, the divine manifests in the psychic as love, in the mind as knowledge, in the vital as power, and in the physical as beauty. So, what is this psychic? The psychic is nothing but our friend, this friend with whom we try to say connect, we try to say hi right now. And so the divine manifests in the psychic as love. The mind, we all know. The vital is the seat of all our emotions, our passions, um, and the physical, of course, is our body. So this is one way to look at what divine is. Someone I think raised your hand. If it is okay, I'll take your question towards the end. Just hold on to whatever is pressing. There is a Q&A session at the end, and I'll take it up then. Okay. Now let's look at the reason for disharmony in relationships. I touched upon this briefly earlier, the difference of opinions. So when we grow up, we all develop these opinions, this way of looking at things. And the more stronger it is, so imagine two very strongly opinionated people, and when they come together and they discuss about something, it's like two rocks colliding because they're very strong opinions about how they look at things. And when two rocks collide, damage happens. So how do we deal with difference of opinions? Because uh, everyone is free to think about things in their own way, and difference of opinions will always exist, or will they? So, but how do we work with difference of opinions? I'll get into that after sharing this beautiful quote by the mother. She says, the whole trouble comes from the fact that you cannot harmonize with someone unless he is in agreement with your own ideas and his opinion and way of doing things are in conformity with yours. So, until our friends, our partner, our parent, whoever we are related to, have same ideas, same way of looking at things the way we do, everything is happy, everything is joyous, everything is full of love. Sab acha chal raha hai. But as soon as there's a difference of opinion, then there's a possibility of that erupting into, first there's a disagreement, then it could either lead to a discussion or an argument, it could lead to a quarrel or a fight, it could lead to a breakup of the relationship also. Because as I said, it's depends on how strong the two opinions we are holding, how strongly are we holding on to the opinions. If it's very strong, then we become like these rocks and then collide and we break. So is there a possibility? How do we work with difference of opinions? Can there be a synthesis? Can there be harmony? So when there is a difference of opinion, the first thing we should look at is everyone is unique, everyone grew up in a certain way. Even if you look at twins, the twins themselves, two people born just on the same day, they themselves have will have different way of looking at things. And because difference of opinions already always exist, the first thing we can try is being open to what the other person is saying, trying to understand where they're coming from. Because people don't just say things out of thin air. There is a reason why they are saying something. And we might not resonate, we might not relate to it because that reason, that experience is not within us. So we try to put ourselves in their shoes. So we hold on to our opinion. I'm not saying that we let it go. We hold on to it, but we maybe put it in our pocket, maybe just park it. And then we pay attention to the other person. Where are they coming from? Why did they say this? Why did they felt like this? And then there is a possibility of a synthesis. So what the other person does is totally out of my control. I cannot expect this from the other person. I mean, they are on their own, right? But what is in my control is this. I can be open and I can try to put myself in their shoes. And when I do that, there is a possibility of finding a common ground, there is a possibility of understanding. There's a possibility then of a synthesis that, okay, I think this way, they think that way. Can we find a middle ground? And if not necessary always to find the middle ground, if we don't find a middle ground, can we respect each other? And yeah, respect that we both have our own opinions, but not in that way that, okay, let's agree to disagree. Have a little more understanding than that. And this is a very excellent activity for self growth as well. How? This allows us to broaden our mind, our understanding of things, of people, of why people are in the way they are. And if we can be open, and um, if we open ourselves, give us this chance to understand the other person, then over the period of time, we'll see some change happening within us, that will feel what the other person feels. There is this possibility of understanding. We'll understand what the other person is going through. So all these possibilities come into picture. And then we are no longer like this hard rocks, or at least this one is me. This is not in my control. This is the other person. This is me. So at least I'm not holding on to myself, my opinions, my beliefs, everything me so hardly. I relax a little. And then when I meet anyone, there is a possibility of an embrace instead of a collision. So try it out. Uh, it's a beautiful process. Try it out with the people in your life and see where it takes you. And I said it is a beautiful process, but is this a painful process also? Yes, pretty much. I won't deny that. At least for me, it has been. And where this does this pain come from? Why does this originate? One reason which I have experienced is expectations. And we all have expectations from be it our friends or parents or siblings, whoever we are related to. We expect them or we do not expect them to behave with us in a certain way, and when something like that happens, it pains us, it hurts us. But can we grow from that? Can we really look at it in all sincerity, in all honesty, and see why this happened to us? Now, is it possible to have relationships without expectation? So this is an ideal which we keep hearing, right? Unconditional love in a relationship. Now, when I say love, I don't mean only intimate partner relationships. I hope we all have this understanding that love is something which flows in any with any kind of relationship that we have, even with pets. So this love, this understanding, can this help us overcome this pain? So one process that we have already explored, two methods actually. One is journaling, getting in touch with this friend within us. Whenever there is pain, we get in touch with that friend and we see where that friend would lead us, what that friend has to say to us. And I want to share another way of looking at pain with you. This is something which has always motivated me. This is from Sri Aurobindo's epic poem Savitri. He says, pain is the hammer of the gods to break a dead resistance in the mortal's heart. His slow inertia as of living stone. If the heart were not forced to want and weep, his soul would have lain down content at ease, and never thought to exceed the human start, and never learned to climb towards the sun. So whenever I feel pain, be it physical pain when I'm working out, or it's a pain from hurt, sometimes this comes to me, and it's one of my favorite quotes by Sri Aurobindo. So here he gives us another way to look at pain. And a couple of days back, this I saw this quote from the mother, and I just felt like I have to include this for today. She says, "For your heart to remain happy, keep it always filled with gratefulness. Gratefulness is the surest way to the divine." Sometimes we get so entangled in a relationship, in in the pain, in the negativity, in all that is going wrong with someone, that we forget all the beautiful moments that we've shared with them, all that they have done for us, the times when they were there for us. So, gratefulness, a feeling of gratitude. And can we go from pain to delight? Can we go from pain to joy? And there's this beautiful, again from Savitri by Sri Aurobindo, where he says, "Arisen from the tragic crash of life, arisen from the body's torture and death, the spirit rises mightier by defeat. Its godlike wings grow wider with each fall. Its splendid failures sum to victory." So all this pain, all this um, suffering that we go through, what if we can think of it as a way for our growth? Its godlike wings grow wider with each fall. With each fall, with each hurt, something within us grows stronger. And if we can stay in touch with that something, call it divine, call it my best friend, call it an unknown friend, because we are trying to explore that friend, a new friend, call it whatever you want, and get in touch with that and see where it leads us. With that, I'm towards the end of what I have to share. So, what's next after this? So, Divyanshi explored the intimate partner relationships. I spoke about the harmony in different kinds of relationships. And next is the relationship with the divine. So, I explored a bit what this divine is, and not necessarily we should be confining ourselves to the word, we should not have a notion. This is something we all, I think, are free to explore by ourselves. So, what is the divine? This is something I just cooked up from my mind, given my maybe engineering background. It's a simple flow chart. This is how I question it. What is the divine? Is she or he a person? If that is so, can I know him or her like I know my friends? And if I know them like my friends, if I can know, then how do I know? So we did explore one way of knowing, that is getting in touch in the depths of our heart. And if I cannot know that person, why should I know about him or her then at all? Why should I bother who the divine is? And if he or she is not a person, then are they a thing? Is it a thing? Is it something like a rock? And if yes, then is it matter? And if it is matter, can I hold it in my hands like I'm holding this mouse maybe right now and experience it, feel it? And if not, then again, what is the divine? This is something just I cooked up from my mind. Just thought of sharing it with you all. And this question, can my relationship with this unknown divine bring about harmony in all my relationships? So I just have this one good relationship with this divine, and can it flow harmony in all my relationships? This is a question for Shiv Kumar because he is taking the next session on relationship with the divine coming Sunday. I would end with this beautiful quote by the mother. She says, each thing in its place, in harmony with all the rest, and then one can begin to understand and to live. Thank you so much for listening to me. And time for questions. Yes. So if you could,
Sure.
I would love to see you all. If you could turn on your cameras, that would be excellent.
Before that, I'll just post the feedback link, Rahul. So
Okay.
things can just
All right.
down the link. I'll just post the link in a minute. The feedback link. Please post it here. We will be sending some content and some summary now.
Rishi, I think you're not audible enough. Can you be a
Okay,
little louder?
sure. So this is the feedback form that I've posted on the chat. We'll be setting the summary and some content on the emails that are listed out.
Any questions? Anything you want to share? Very happy with the session. Thank you. I'm very happy as well. All right. Thank you, Shalini.
I have a question that I'll post at the end. Now,
Yes, what is the question?
let's just see
How do I stay so positive? Okay, I'll share one of my secrets. So, yeah, life, what I've experienced or what I've realized something is life is an adventure. So I sometimes call it a roller coaster ride. I hope you all have been on a roller coaster ride once. If you're not, you're missing on something altogether. This is something you should definitely try once in your life. So if you ride a roller coaster ride or something similar to that, you really need to let go. If you're holding on too tight, if you're too afraid, you will have an experience by the end of which you are so drained. But if you just let go, and if you just shout and scream, maybe, or whatever, just let go and spread your arms and you just feel. So the ride will go like this. It will flip you. It will take sudden turns. Anything could happen. But the key is to enjoy the ride. The key is to let go. And one of the things I came across is based on from my experiences, which really helped is not being too serious about my own self, laughing at myself, laughing at my own state, laughing at my mistakes, laughing at my limitations. That, okay, oh my God, I did this mistake again. Look how stupid I'm being. So, I don't know. I was not always like this. Definitely not. But yeah, I would say this attitude helps. Having a certain sense of humor, I would say, about ourselves. Because this is an adventure, and if we are too serious about it, then we won't have fun on the way. And this life is about having fun, the way I see it. Yeah,
sure,
next
sure, Rahul.
question.
So yeah, okay. So I think we have the first question we have from Mr. Kajanan. Maybe if
Hmm.
you can unmute and then you can yourself say that Kajananji. Yeah.
Hello.
Uh, yeah.
Hello, I am Gajanan.
Hi.
Question is how to control my anger on my 7 years old daughter.
Hmm. So I would say first look at why the anger comes. So look at the event itself. When does it happen? And if you can find a pattern to it, if it is, if it happens, if there's a pattern that the child does a particular thing which irritates you, which um, brings a certain state within you, just be aware of that. So awareness is the first step, that you need to be aware that something the child is triggering inside you. And of course, the child is not doing it consciously. It's not like the 7-year-old daughter comes like, today I want to make my daddy angry. No, not at all. That's not the case. It's just that the child is being it's just being himself or herself. The way the child is being is triggering something within you. And if you can be aware, first step, being aware right in that moment is difficult because you're already triggered and it becomes difficult to control oneself in that moment. So if you can be more aware of yourself in your daily life, how do I feel right now when I'm speaking with this person? What this person just said, how did it make me feel? What am I thinking? Just building a certain self-awareness, self-observation on a daily basis. Once you do it daily in all your activities, you will be aware of yourself. Once you're aware of yourself, then you can do something about yourself. So once you're aware, then you, of course, you ask this question because it means a lot to you and you do not want to be angry, right? So you decide, this is not how I want to be. This is not how I want to be with my daughter. This is how I want to be. And how you want to be, you can be like that only when first you have this awareness. Then comes the aspect of control. And yes, get in touch with that friend whom we try to get in touch with today. That friend is of great help, I would say. Seek help from that friend. And yeah, so this will be a process. This won't, it's not like in 1 week or 1 month you will totally overcome anger. This will be an exploration for yourself. And yes, I would say first step, self-observation. Second comes, only after self-observation comes self-mastery. So that is how I look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Now the
Any
next
other
question is
questions?
from a
Yeah.
Facebook participant, Madhvi, and her question is, "What is letting go? How do we do it?"
So again, I would take the example of the roller coaster ride. Letting go is not holding on to too much to, I would say not completely, too much to me, mind, my way of thinking. Just a little, just open up, try to open up a little. That is one way to look at it. Did I answer your question? Did it, what was the name of the participant who asked the question?
Madhvi from Facebook. That is what.
Okay, so I hope that helps. So letting go does not mean that, I mean, what are we letting go of? First of all, that is the question, right? So the sense or this whole idea about myself, what I think, what I feel, because of because if we are too much into ourselves, we think about it like we create this strong, hard shell around us, and then we become hard and brittle. And as I explained, when a hard thing collides, there's damage. So can we open up a little? That is what. So think from there and see where it takes you. Yes.
Sure. So the next question is from again a Facebook participant, Ankita, and she asks, "Could you please elaborate on how to exactly concentrate in the middle of chest?" Yeah,
Okay, this is something, a process. So it's not a strict method that I give you and it will work for you. This is something we all have to explore by our own self. But one key thing that helps is concentration. How much is our concentration? How much, to what degree can we concentrate on anything? And what can help is, can we build our concentration in all the things that we do? So because we apply the same concentration here, okay? So when I'm studying, when I'm working, when I'm driving, whatever activity we do, can we be completely in that self? Can we concentrate? This concentration, when we build, when we cultivate, we can apply it in this process also. So one of the things I try to do is, if I'm not able to, because what do you mean by depths of the heart? I mean, where do I go below, behind my spine, or what? I mean, what does it mean? So one of the things that I do is, I try to, if there are a lot of thoughts, I look at my state. First, I try to observe my breath to calm myself down. Then I really, for me, the key thing is to, if I can hear my breath, if I can hear my heartbeat, it really helps, because you really need to be silent and really focus to listen to your heartbeat. It comes easier when you're in a environment. So talking about the surroundings and environment aspect, do this. It really helps if you do this in a silent space. And good that this question came up. It really helps if you do this at the same time every day. So every one of us can figure out one time, because then it becomes a routine, and it becomes like we ourselves are tuned. We ourselves become favorable. Something within us becomes favorable to do it at that time. So yes, breath, focusing on the breath, trying to listen to the heartbeat, pay attention to the environment, the space you're around. See if there's as little sound as possible. Um, and try this when you're just about to sleep, because at that time there is a certain degree of silence around us. At that time also you can try it. And yeah, try to listen to your heartbeat, and then once you're there, see if you can drop a little into the depths. And this is something we all have to explore by ourselves. Yes.
Sure. So, Rahul, there's a follow-up question from Madhvi, who had asked the earlier question of what is letting go. And this time her question is, then how do I differentiate between self-respect and being a pushover in this process of letting go things?
Well, self-respect is, I hold on to, from what I understand, I hold on to certain things. I value certain things. And that's fine. That can be my core. If something is happening against that, of course, that is not acceptable to me. Uh, Self-respect and pushover. Okay, from what I'm understanding is, I'm a pushover when I try to impose myself on the other person. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So yeah, if from what I understand, that happens when I'm too much into myself, when I focus a lot on myself, and I'm not open to others, to the others' way of being. If it's too much of that, then there's a possibility of being a pushover. And of course, we hold on to our values, our core, and self-respect is, yeah, that is what I feel self-respect comes from, our core values. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
We'll ask her to follow separately. Sure. So next, Harsh, you would like to, can you unmute yourself and then directly ask the question?
Yeah, hi Rahul sir.
Hi, Harsh. You can call me Rahul. No, sir. Not been knighted by the queen.
I'll try my best. So, my question is like, when we are like a child or like we have a old friends, so we have that mutual connection with them, with that feeling. Once we grow up and we have like we don't talk around 8 years or 7 years, and when we connect with them, so we have the same feelings as we have before. But when we connect them with them, so the feelings has changed. Like we have the same feelings, but the other person with whom we are talking must have different feelings. And when we talk to them, and from there we just started disconnecting with them. So how to just make that connection, or should we let them go from our life, or should we reconnect with them according to their feelings?
Well, it depends if how much that person means to you. If they really mean so much to you, then so let's look at this. Why? So we have, let's say, a childhood friend, and then we meet again after 7 8 years. So what happens in this 7 8 years is we both have our own set of experiences, and we both then develop a certain way of looking at life and looking at things. Basically, we develop our own opinions about things, about life. And yeah, so again, I would say if that person means a lot to you, then of course there's always the possibility of connecting. And I would say again, it goes back to understanding where they're coming from. Because in these 7 8 years, there was a kind of separation from what I understood based on what you said.
Right.
They were having their own set of experiences being somewhere, and you were having your own set of experiences. So you both have developed in your own way, and you are two different people today. And because you are two different people, um, so it's not like a one-on-one, like come together. No, it's different. So when you come together, we cannot expect like a nice clap. No. Um, so understand where the other person is coming from, why they feel the way they are feeling, and it's all again the basis or the first question you should ask yourself is, does that person mean so much to me?
Yeah,
And if
at
they do, that is the motivation to, yeah.
yeah, at that time we feel that a person is really mean to us, but when we connect with them, at when we hear them, at that time we realize that okay, now things has been changed, priorities has been changed, so we have to just move on from that.
Yeah, so what happens is this is very natural. This can happen in an intimate partner relationship also. This happens very commonly in marriage also. That why do people fall apart? Why do people so-called break up? Because we all are having our own journey, or we are all growing in a certain way. Okay. And unless there is this common thing to hold on to a relationship, something, so how do we build relationships, right? There's something common apart from blood relations.
Right.
Something common. Think about how you made friends. There was something common that interested you both. But over the period of time, you might grow into someone else, right? Because we grow, we don't remain the same throughout our life. We change. It's very natural based on our experiences, based on what we think we want to do in life. So change happens, and certain relationships naturally fall away. We make new relationships. That happens. But if you really think it's this is something, this is one person, I want to stay connected to it. But again, there's the question of, am I imposing my will on that other person? Am I trying to change that person? Am I trying to make that person see things the way I see things? Then there's a problem because that will result to arguments and fights. So I would say, I think this is something I've observed in myself also. If we can just observe nature, how creatures are in nature, it brings a lot of wisdom. It really, nature gives so much of wisdom. It has so much of wisdom to offer. If you just observe how creatures live in nature, I think I would leave that as an exploration for all of us.
Yes, of course. One more question, like how, as you mentioned in the presentation, like we should love ourselves. So can you just explain me with the example, like how to love? Because I've been into this practice, you should love yourself, then people will love you. So can you just with the example?
Hmm. So I don't understand this love yourself aspect because when you say love yourself, what part of me am I going to love? What makes sense to me is we need to be gentle and kind to ourselves. There are a lot of times when we are very rough, very tough on ourselves. We get into guilt. We punish ourselves by being very hard on ourselves. So I would say we should be gentle with ourselves. And when we say ourselves, it reminds me how much do we know about ourselves exactly? Because there are, from my experience, there are different aspects of me, there are different parts of my being. So based on, if I go back to what the mother said about how the divine manifests in different parts of the being. So there's the body. So if I just try to bring this awareness to you, if I ask you this question, who are you? Okay. So are you the body? No. We always use the word my body. So what is mine can never be me. This this is my phone. Similarly, this is my body and I'm looking at your body. So that is mine. So that is not me. My emotions, again, those are mine. That is not me. My mind, my thoughts, my ideas, something again which is mine, which is not me. And whatever is mine, again, if we look at it, this is my phone. And if this is mine, I am in full control of it. I should be in full control of it. I should be able to use it the way I want to use it, right? But are we in full control of our body, our mind, our emotions? The first step comes from being aware. See, this is easy. This is phone, it's outside. Okay, I can pick it up, I can be aware. The body is also relatively easy. I see it. I'm more aware of the body. The mind and the vital. So I'll use the word vital from the terminology of integral yoga. The vital is the seat of all emotions, desires, passions, our drives. So the vital and the mind are trickier because for to experience them, we need to detach, we need to witness. So one thing we all can try on our daily basis is, can we detach from ourselves? And from ourself, I mean the body, the mind, and the vital. Basically, are parts of being. So again, continuing on my query, if I'm not the body, if I'm not the mind, if I'm not the vital, because these are mine. So what is mine can never be me. Then what is me? And there starts the quest. And that is something we all, I think, it comes naturally to us, I think, at some point or the other in our life, that who am I? What is this me? I mean, I experience this whole world, but what is the one that is experiencing it? Hmm? So I would say one of the things which is very important in life, so this is a personal take, is to know myself and have a certain degree of mastery and control over what is mine. And once we can do that, there can be the possibility of living a life which is better, which has more joy in it, which has more love in it. Yeah.
Sure. Uh, okay. Sure. Sure, sir. Rahul, I think after your session,
That's it? No more questions?
yes.
Oh, so
Have,
we are to the end.
there is one question I have, but we
Yes.
take it up separately. But we are already over time. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was really lovely, Rahul. Thank you for attending all. We had a nice session. I think next I will just announce the next next meeting actually, and then Raghav will do the summary session. Quick summary. Okay, I'll just share my screen.
Rishi, if your voice it's not that clear,
Okay, sorry.
much better now.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'll just share the poster for the next meeting. I'll announce the next session, and then Raghav will do the summary part of this session. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Sure. So the next session is from Shiv Kumar, who is director for youth, and he would be exploring relationship with the divine. This poster will be sent on emails as well as FB campaigns. So yeah, get tuned in for the next Sunday, 2nd August, 8 to 9:50. Okay. Over to you, Rahul, for the summary.
So thank you so much, Rahul, for beautifully touching upon how do we actually find harmony in all the relationships. Relationships can exist in so many forms, be it with our parents, siblings, friends, and nearly everything around us. And a special mention for beautifully describing the divine through the flowchart. So thank you so much for that. And all of you who could join us, thank you. And we would look forward for you to joining our next sessions as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining, for being here, for listening to me patiently. I hope I answered your questions, and I invite you all to this wonderful adventure life. And yeah, let's be open. Let's try to know ourselves. We are so much caught up in the outward that we forget what is right here. I mean, this is the one which does everything. So, can we know more about this one and see where it takes us? So, I invite you all on this journey and wish you all the joy and love in your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.